Joining me now is John Hinderaker, President at the Centre of the American Experiment. John, thanks for your time this evening. The MAGA movement. I want to talk to you about the MAGA movement because it's divided over the US involvement in Iran. A lot of Trump supporters fear it will be another one of those forever wars they voted against. But then Steve Bannon believes MAGA will follow Trump on whatever he decides. Have a listen.
There'll be some, but the vast majority of the MAGA movement go, look, we trust your judgment. You've walked us through this. We don't like it. In fact, maybe we hate it, but, we'll get on board.
So I want to start by asking, is that your sense too? People will inevitably follow Trump whichever way he goes on this issue.
Well, first of all, I don't think there is much of a split in the MAGA movement on this Iran issue. The idea that there's a significant chunk of the Republican Party that is isolationist or pacifist or anti-Israel is just wrong. And just yesterday, the pollster JL Partners came out with a really interesting survey because they surveyed Americans and Republicans, but they also asked, do you consider yourself a MAGA Republican? And what they found is that 81% of people who say they are MAGA Republicans support Israel's strikes against Iran, and 65% of MAGA Republicans say they support American strikes against Iran, even though that's not really on the table at this point. So a guy like Tucker Carlson does not speak for any significant number of Republicans or MAGA believers on this issue.
So where do you think Trump will land on this? Many were expecting the US to take action sort of over the last couple of days, but I know now Trump has said he might wait 2 weeks to give the Iranians the maximum chance to come to the table. What's your thought on how this is going to pan out from an American perspective?
Well, Donald Trump has been saying since 2011 that the Iranian mullahs cannot have nuclear weapons. He's been absolutely consistent on that. And I think he's waiting to see how the current conflict plays out. The Israelis are doing very well, and they may not need our help. And if they don't need our help, I think Trump is happy to sit on the sidelines. I think the main question is whether the Israelis are going to be able to take out that Fordo nuclear center that is basically under a mountain, right? It's an underground nuclear facility with a mountain on top of it. We've got the only ordnance in the world, the bunker-busting bomb, they call it, that can literally go through that mountain and blow up that nuclear facility. I'm not sure the Israelis need that to put that facility out of business. So my sense is that Trump is waiting to see how it plays out, waiting to see how the Israelis continue to mop up the nuclear program. My guess is if he thinks that our munitions are needed to finish the job, he will probably make those munitions available.
Yeah, and I agree with you. It does seem, whatever America's involvement, the decision has been made, the job must be finished. They can't have started this and then leave it half done. That would be a bad outcome for everybody. Speaking of bad outcomes, it was a bad day for Trump's former best friend. The SpaceX launch went, well, quite poorly yesterday. Take a look.
The other day when they, whoa!
What? That's
No!
I've got to ask you, John, was that a literal rocket exploding or a metaphor for Musk's relationship with Donald Trump?
Well, that was a bad day at the office for Elon Musk. There's no doubt about it. And SpaceX has had a few of those, although they've also had some real successes, like showing that a rocket can be recycled by catching it on the way down. But, I hope that Elon remains a part of the conservative movement. He's a tremendously talented guy. And I think his involvement in the conservative movement has been great for America and good for the world. And I hope that he can patch things up with Trump and in any event, one way or another, stay involved on our side.
Just one more thing before I let you go, John. I wanted to ask you about Trump unveiling a giant 88-foot flagpole, 2 of them, I think, at the White House. The man sure knows the importance of optics, doesn't he?
Sometimes I think people in other countries don't fully appreciate the difference between our Republican Party and our Democratic Party, and a politician like Trump and a lot of politicians on the other side of the aisle. Trump is pro-America. He is in favor of the United States. He loves our country and wants us to succeed. And when he puts up these flagpoles and these American flags, he's reminding voters of that. The reality is we have politicians in America who are not pro-America, who don't want our country to succeed. And I think we can't be reminded of that fact too often. So I like to see Trump putting up those massive flagpoles.
I like it too, and I cannot imagine our Prime Minister, wish that he would, but I cannot imagine him putting up a massive Australian flag. Sometimes our politicians do everything they can to avoid our national flag. John Hinderaker, thanks for joining me tonight.